Hi everyone, welcome to EVE Talk, your weekly update for the EVE Online markets. I am your host, delonewolf, and it's going to be something like 35 degrees Celsius here in Belgium this weekend. So yeah, not sure how much I'm going to get done, and that's why I'm doing this one pretty early in the morning compared to the normal times that I make EVE Talk. But anyways, let's go over to the chair and let's have a look at those markets. Now, someone in the previous video told me to use the quick bar for quick reference of all these units, and I did. I added everything I wanted to check, and that's going to be very handy. So let's start off as usual with titanium, but chart right there with a it looks like a data point in the millions or the billions of ISK. So let's have a quick look at the market data in, well, no, I want to keep the lowest price and then just go back to the first station, because if I go by jumps, might be let's see, 632, and if I take jumps, yeah, he starts off at 10 ISK, so that's not so good. So 632 for the sellers, 619 for the buyers. That's probably pretty much flat once again. Let's have a look at pyrite. What's that doing in station? Man, so many lower sell orders around in the same region though. 1278 for the sellers, 1226 for the buyers. Chart, yeah, pretty much flat. With data points right around the green line, so that's pretty flat so far. Let's have a look at the Mixalon chart. A couple corrupted data points, but pretty flat as well, I think. 59.74 and 57.55 sellers and buyers, so just around that 60 ISK. Prices for minerals are pretty flat at the moment, so the new changes in the mining ships haven't increased the yield substantially, so it's not like we're seeing that much more supply, and prices are holding on pretty good. Let's see the mining ships then. I'll start off with the Hulk, which has known a downward price correction after the patch, and right here the red line shows the moving average, shows us like an inflection point, so it could be that around 240 million or whatever the current prices are. No, it's 210 million, and below 200 million for the buyers. That's gonna be the price that the Hulk settles at. Pretty interesting. It went down 70 million after the patch, and there's a decent margin of around 12 million ISK, something like that. 12 to 13 million ISK. So it's trade worthy, I think. And it went down so much because of the Mackinac, which knew the exact opposite, went up quite a lot. And again, in the moving average, we get this inflection point. So I would say the Mackinac probably has found its price as well at around 234 million, 225 for the buy orders. So that's 11 million, no, less than that, 8 million margin in between there. So there's gonna be less trade opportunities, I think, in the Mackinac compared to the Hulk. I guess that's because so many people want it that will find its price a lot more quickly. The melted nanoribbons, to get a feel of the Tech 3 prices, these are pretty much flat, I would have to say, on this chart. And let's have a look at the Tengu, which is still on its downward trend. So pretty interesting how the melted nanoribbons are keeping up. Their price is pretty stable after a rise. This is the 3-month chart, by the way. While the Tengu is still slowly going down and down below, heading towards the 210 million. Yeah, 208, 209 for the sellers, and 200 million for the buyers. That's pretty interesting. I guess supply is still higher than demand at the moment for Tech 3 ships. Pretty surprising, although they're used more and more in 0-0. I guess they can make their own or something like that. but yeah, maybe you can pick up like a cheap Tengu for 200 million with the buy orders, or if you want a couple of cheap ones. I think this is a good time to check it out. Just look where they come from, almost 280 million. I think if you want a Tech 3 for personal use, I'd say it's worth it to look at it. Let's have a look then at the plex, I guess. Or no, I'll go for the Talos first, which is once again pretty flat as well, although some pretty high data points there as well. And the moving average goes up and down quite heavily. 83,740, almost 84 million. Buyers 78. That's 5-6 million margin there. There's some trade opportunity in it, but 83 to 84 million, that's still a decent price for people that have a researched BPO by now. So yeah, the Talos market, you can still make some money there as an industrial, I think. Let's have a look at the plex prices, which are rising quite substantially. So yeah, would have been a good idea to buy them last week. And let's have a look at the prices. 496 million and 485.5 for the buyers. I think the buyers are where the sellers were last week, so you could have made 10 million already if you'd bought some plex. There's some data points at 510 million. Let's have a look at the 1 year chart. Yep, it's going back up straight where it was previously. The current speculation in the forums is that these are mainly Care Bears miners that are resubbing after the changes to the mining barges. I guess we lost some people on Hulkageddon, and now with the changes to the mining barges, they're coming back and checking it out to see if they're really that gank proof now, or that much harder to gank. I think that could be a correct interpretation of this rise. I think it's a bit too early to say it's the end of the summer, unless there's a lot of speculation, people are already buying them to prepare for the winter expansion. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if this chart goes back down a little bit by the end of the summer or not. Otherwise, yeah, the buy opportunity might already have been over, and everything you buy now is 10 million profit less than what you could have made. But yeah, plex prices, they're on the rise. And then finally, I've been talking a little bit about going into new markets as a new industrialist. If you want to make some money, a new market is what you want to keep an eye out for. And we know that there are new destroyers coming up, and so I wanted to show you guys the medium ice harvester accelerator 1 chart, which has just been out, of course, since the patch. It's the new rigs, and as you can see, if you're the first to get your stuff to the market, you've been able to sell it for like 12 million ISK or something like that. Then it went for around 6, then 4 million ISK, and now it's settling at, let's have a quick look, 3 million ISK, something like that, 2 million for the buy orders. Still, that's 1/3 margin right there. That's quite significant. But that's how a new market always starts, very, very high, and then going down very quickly, settling down to a price set by most industrialists compared to what they normally cost. But I have to say, usually you can see with the Talos, let's see if I can find the start of the Talos, you have that exact same thing, data point at 200 million. But after that, the price needs to find itself, but then it tends to stay pretty stable. As you can see right here, I'd say since April 1st, it's been pretty stable after a rise. That's probably due to the Mexalon price rise as well. And that's pretty good for an industrialist, because as you're researching your BPO and making more of them, your margin will actually increase. You'll make more and more profit on every Talos you sell. And the longer this price stays pretty stable like this, and And yet the more people fall out of that race to keep that BPO research constantly, the higher your profits are gonna be. And that's why I think a new market is very interesting. And I've read an article on EveNews24 where someone made something like 6 billion ISK on a 10 billion investment by producing a boatload of ice harvesters and selling them on the first few days. So that's yeah, they are pretty interesting markets whenever they open up a new one. So that's gonna be it for this week, guys. I'll see you all next time.